welcome NoDQ Galaxy, and we are back with the NoDQ review number 51. And I am Virtue, being joined by the NoDQ review team panel of TJS, Big G, and Aaron Rift. I see a lot of NoDQ shirts going on here, except, what are you wearing, TJS?
This is a plain teal shirt.
Nice. The invisible NoDQ logo? Is that the new thing?
It's the
What's
Johnson.
What's up, man? How are we going to get more views for the review for everything on the NoDQ channel? What do we got to do? What does Aaron Rift have to do?
Apparently wear teal shirts, plain teal shirts. That's the new craze. Maybe it's a tribute to the new Weezer album that came out recently with all the cover songs.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
All right. Well, you just ready for the review, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm hot topics this week, folks. Hot topics, as always.
All right, Big G, I see you looking like your South Park self today. What is going on, man?
Well, you guys know it's been a rough week for me. My grandfather just recently passed away, but I am thankful that you guys are here to support me 100%, and I'm ready to talk about some wrestling.
Absolutely.
Right.
How are you doing, Aaron?
Our condolences to you and your family,
Thank
and
you.
let's try to discuss some wrestling here and try to lift up everyone's spirits a little bit as much as we can, because WWE hasn't really been doing the best job of lifting up our spirits lately, that's for sure.
And Aaron, that might be part of the problem, but let's kick it off. Let's start. Kurt Angle, a week ago, we found out he was going to have his last match at WrestleMania. You know, so he says, so they say. And we were saying, John Cena, you know, this or that. And it's going to be Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin, who still, in his mind, thinks he's a general manager because he's still wearing the gimmick, which is just, you know, it's not appealing. I got in a little scuffle on Twitter when I said Kurt, at this point, seeing how blown up and gassed he looked after his match this Monday, I'm thinking, why does he even have a match at Mania? And then I kind of backtracked. Maybe I meant singles match, because at this stage in his career, you know, why not have the world's greatest tag team and Kurt in a six-man tag against, I don't know, Corbin, Lashley, McIntyre, something like that. But no, we're going to get Angle and Corbin. Aaron Rift, I'll start with you. Fan backlash galore with this.
Absolutely. I was expecting John Cena to come out since Raw was in Chicago, and that was where John Cena made his televised debut on Smackdown in Chicago versus Kurt Angle, the whole ruthless aggression promo, which we've seen so many times. We were all hoping for Cena, and instead it was Baron Corbin, and the fans in Chicago started chanting, "We want Cena," which is crazy because they almost never chant that, especially in a city like Chicago. Now, apparently, this is WWE's plan. This is not part of a swerve. It is going to be Baron Corbin, although it would not shock me if John Cena shows up on the go-home edition of Raw and inserts himself into the match, gives an AA to Corbin, and we get Angle versus Cena. But man, if it's Angle versus Corbin, there's the bathroom break match right there, and I really hate to say that for Kurt Angle, but we got to take a bathroom break sometime, right? TJS, your thoughts?
Well, I don't think they're going to change this, man. I really don't, because in their mind, they're like, oh, well, this is just getting Baron Corbin heat. This is getting people to hate Baron Corbin even more. But the problem is that Kurt Angle's the one that chose Baron Corbin. I don't like that. I think that the McMahon family should have been like, if you want your last match at Mania, we pick your opponent and we pick Baron Corbin, because that's the proper way to get heat. Not have Kurt pick him, because if you think about it, I mean, there's reason to dislike Kurt for this now. Kurt's supposed to be the babyface, and he picks like one of the most boring wrestlers on the roster to face when we want these dream matches. Like, I thought his match with Chad Gable was awesome. It wasn't like 5 stars, but if you gave those guys like 10 or 15 more minutes, it could have been. Chad Gable, I believe, is criminally underrated, and the two could have put on a clinic, but no. It's like you guys said, we're getting Baron Corbin versus Angle, and I really, like I said, I don't see WWE changing it, because why would they? They're in their mind, they're saying Baron Corbin's the heel, and that's it. But the thing is, people are talking about long-term storytelling with Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin, but this rivalry already wrapped up, so there's no reason to redo it. Why would Kurt Angle want to face Baron after he's already gotten his redemption? We've seen this match countless times. I'm tired of it. Like you guys said, this will be the first of 2 bathroom break matches because SmackDown Women's title, you know. Big G, what do you think, man?
Oofa. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really looking forward towards this match either. Like we've all said, even Virtue said, you know, Kurt Angle was pretty much blown up on Monday.
I just feel bad for him. Like that, Kurt's one of the most intense wrestlers in the ring I've ever seen, and he wants to be that way still. Yeah. But his body won't let him, and that's why he gets so blown up. And it's just like I hate seeing that.
Like CJS said, if you gave him 10 or 15 more minutes, the poor man would have passed out in the ring. I'm sorry to say, you could tell back in the day if you watched his 24 special, you know he was doing stuff back then to keep him going. But now that he's clean and everything like that, of course he's gonna get blown up real fast, and maybe that's why they're putting him with Corbin. You know, do it like a quick minute squash match or something like that, 5 minutes or something.
But I think it'll have to be short, man. It's because the crowd will turn. The crowd will get nasty.
And it was funny how Chicago chanted, "We want Cena." Even I was thinking, you know, I want Cena. Damn it, give me Cena. I want to see Cena versus Angle one more time because Cena could carry most of the match for Angle. You know, I don't know. Hopefully the crowd. Well, it's going to be in New York, so yeah, they're probably going to shit on the match big time.
I mean, like you said, Big G, unless it starts where Corbin gets his stuff in the first minute and a half of the match, and then Angle hulks up and wins, and it's like a 3 or 4 minute match. I mean, if it goes beyond 5, they're going to crap on it, and I feel so bad because Angle does not deserve that.
And Angle really, he only does a couple moves now. He just does his Germans, hits the ankle lock, does the angle slam.
That's it.
You have the early, like, chain wrestling in the beginning, but after that it's just a spam of signatures and finishers. So
I would have rather seen Corbin and Angle on Raw this past week and then see Gable versus Kurt Angle.
Yeah,
someone actually suggested to me, because Angle in a tag match, he'd be more protected. What was the hottest match at WrestleMania 34?
Angle
and nobody expected that to be. And Angle was in a tag match where he could be limited, right?
Yep.
Why couldn't we have had just say Corbin teaming with McIntyre versus, I don't know, Kurt Angle and Roman Reigns? Protect Roman's leukemia comeback as well and put them as an underdog team.
Yeah.
But whatever. Here we go. 17 matches, and this is the problem. This will go into our next topic. This is kind of potentially here 17 matches in a potentially 8-hour show. Now, I'm going to be there, right? So I hope they have cabanas. You know, maybe we can have tent. Maybe it'll be like Woodstock. I don't know, where it goes on all weekend. Now, some people have suggested one day should WrestleMania be a 2-day event? Isn't it kind of already a 4-day event? You have the Hall of Fame. You have NXT. 5-day event. You have WrestleMania. You have Raw. And you have SmackDown, all part of the bundle.
Yeah.
TJS, I want to start with you. 17 matches. What's up with this marathon mania that they like to do these days?
Well, I think the problem with WWE is that they believe that the bigger the better, which is not the case. I think the quality of the matches is more important than the quantity of the matches. So just because it's your biggest show doesn't mean it's your best show. I get it. It's WrestleMania. Oh, big show, WrestleMania 35. It's been going on for 35 years. But you don't have to give us like 4 hours of filler, and then because there's not that many matches that I'm really looking for on this card. There's a couple, yeah, but I'm not a fan of such long shows. 4 hours is already pushing it, and that's their regular pay-per-view time. And 3 hours on the week for Raw, 2 hours for SmackDown, just so oversaturated. And as far as the 2-day event goes, man, I don't know about that one, because I feel like that would make one night feel less important. The way that they're presenting, it's like this is all WrestleMania. But if you did 2 days, I feel like it would be WrestleMania Part 1. That would have the undercard. Then WrestleMania Part 2 would just be the main matches. Like, I'm not sure how that formatting would work. And it's like Aaron said, he went to WrestleMania 31, and I mean, how long was that show, Aaron? It was like what, 5 hours, something like that.
Around 5 to 6 hours, yeah.
Even WrestleMania 2, where they did it in the three venues, it was only like an hour in each venue live, and then they do the closed circuit TV screen while they move to the next venue. And of course, it ended in Los Angeles, I believe, with King Kong Bundy versus Hulk Hogan in the cage. But that was still only what, 3, maybe 4 tops back in the day.
Yeah, and the problem is that WWE has so much talent on the roster that they want to book all these people. Everyone wants that WrestleMania payday, but the way I see it, I think only the best should be competing at WrestleMania. Not everyone, because they talk about all year. Oh, you want a spot at WrestleMania, you have to impress the management. But I feel like almost everyone gets on the card, especially with the battle royals that shouldn't even be there. But yeah, I feel like if they did the 2-day event, they would probably try to do 2 8-hour days or something. And I just think of the fans in attendance, man, because it's got to get exhausting just sitting there for all these hours. That's probably the only reason I like the idea of the 2-day event. That's probably the advantage, is that you give the crowd a break. Because I don't believe there's any intermissions at WrestleMania unless they're just showing a video package. So you don't get your 15-minute intermission or whatever. And even if you did, I doubt you could go to the bathroom in 15 minutes with that packed stadium. So,
Big G, does anybody, do you think they do this for the traveling, the foreigners who fly from out of country, people that go across, just to make them feel like the longer it is, the more of an experience it is? Like, do you think that's their mindset?
I think so, because I mean, you got people coming from Europe, you got people coming from Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, so yeah, you got what, an 8-hour show, 2-hour being the kickoff, and then a 6-hour WrestleMania, and then you have Raw and SmackDown the day before, and then Hall of Fame and NXT. So I wouldn't even suggest a 2-day event. Just cut out the pre-show. If you're going to do a pre-show, just talk about the matches. Don't have any of the matches on there. And keep it to because if it's a 3-hour show, it's going to be like Raw pretty much. So, make it a 4.5-hour show, tops. If that, Because like TJ has said, you're going to, if there's going to be 17 matches, by the time the main event comes, nobody is going to be doing anything. Cheering, booing, standing. So if Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte go on last, I feel bad for them. I truly do, because the crowd is going to be burnt out. And especially if the people go to NXT, NXT always throws an amazing show. So does WrestleMania, don't get me wrong. But you're going to have 16 matches. Okay, maybe 3 on the kickoff and then the rest on the main card. But still, I don't know what WWE, I don't know what Vince is thinking. Does he want to please everybody, like you said, TJS? Everybody's got to have a WrestleMania payday. The bigger you are, you should be on WrestleMania. If you're a low card talent that's hardly ever used on TV, sorry, Lacey Evans, Apollo Crews, all of them, you shouldn't even be on WrestleMania. You should be on the kickoff show, on the Andre Battle Royal or the Women's Battle Royal. That's where you belong. I'm sorry.
Aaron, I think Vince just Matt, you know how the Super Bowl, Aaron, I'm telling you, football reference here. The Super Bowl was always like a week-long event, right? And they used to do the Pro Bowl around it and all that. I think Vince McMahon, in his mind, because he loves football and the XFL, he's trying to make Mania like a week-long Super Bowl. And it's every year it's gotten bigger and bigger in his eyes. What do you think, Aaron?
Well, yeah, he's definitely trying to make it the biggest event possible. And, TJS mentioned earlier about, like, how would it work with a 2-day event. To me, it would be like Coachella or Lollapalooza, one of those festivals where each night you have your lower acts and then you have your headliners. So each night would be just as important. I think part of the problem with the 2-day event is that WWE would have to jack up the prices even more to justify running in the stadium a second night, because that's going to cost a lot of money. So they'll have to raise the prices, although you could have the one ticket, you get the same seat for both nights, and that way people can have a little bit of a break, make 2 4-hour shows. I mean, ideally, I would like a 5-hour show tops with no kickoff. That would be what I would like, but I feel like we're moving in the other direction, and there's no sign of that stopping anytime soon.
So then if they did that, so you would have Raw and SmackDown, you'd have a break Tuesday, have Hall of Fame on Thursday, NXT on Friday, WrestleMania Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Raw and SmackDown again.
How about we just get rid of the Hall of Fame? Seriously.
I mean, it'd be nice if they built one, or had it. You make a deal with Universal Studios or something where you can at least have a ride, something.
Cleveland, they got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I don't know where the Baseball Hall of and isn't the Football Hall of Fame's in Ohio too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in Canton, Ohio.
Ohio, yeah. So, if they're getting off topic, if their headquarters are in Connecticut, they should have the Hall of Fame in Connecticut, like in the building next to it or something like that. So,
well, did you hear they're moving? I think they're moving their headquarters. It's still going to be in Stamford or Connecticut. I just wonder how much bigger. Like even Vince wants bigger office. Like that's a pretty impressive complex. Like Titan Towers is what we always called it. When you see it, it's kind of iconic. And if Vince wants to move into, I wonder what this new facility is going to look. It's bigger, more countries worldwide. Well, you know what I mean? It's different.
Actually,
they look at it differently.
There is a way you can look at it on Google Maps. It does look like a large building.
Yes.
Looks bigger than their current
Titan Towers or whatever they call it.
Yes.
You think? There you go.
He's running
big.
Yeah, he's running out of room for that ego. He's got to fit it all in that office. And
how many dinosaur fossils do you think that he bought that he needs to have on display?
Well,
does he have a dinosaur fossil?
He's got Triple H. He's got Hulk Hogan. The list goes on.
Oh my God! All right, so what do you guys think is a sweet spot for today's wrestling product? Because I think a lot of fans are disenchanted. They're confused. You have the people that's like me that still like sports entertainment, but you have the indie fans that love wrestling. And where's the sweet spot? And does anybody cater to it? Apparently, WWE tries by their main product for sports entertainment, NXT for wrestling. You have AEW coming. You have all your other little Ring of Honors, Impacts. Is there a sweet spot where fans can be happy? Aaron, I want to start with you on this one. Because I don't know if there is, man.
I don't know either. I don't know. Big G, what do you think? I really have no opinion on it. This is going to bring down our ratings. We got to talk more mainstream stuff, no indie stuff.
Well, I'm going to say
this has Aaron.
This has
everything to do with mainstream because, hold on, Big G, we're talking about sports entertainment, which is the WWE mainstream way. So Aaron just wasn't prepared for this topic. So Big G, go for it.
Well, I think WWE caters to pretty much everybody here and there. You got your people who like the 205 Lives, the cruiserweights like Cindy and Simply Noah. You got us wrestling fans down in NXT and NXT UK. You got the sports entertainer guys like Aaron, Virtue, Jeff Meacham, all of them. And then the AEW and all the indie promotions, I think they just cater purely to the wrestling fans. There's really not much sports entertainment. There is, don't get me wrong, but it's not as much as WWE does. Trying to think of a good example. Well, like I said, NXT, they cater to the wrestlers and so forth and so on.
And Aaron, nobody wants the Attitude Era back, but it still drew the highest ratings of all time.
Yeah, that is true.
And see, that's another thing. Let me talk about that. People they want to recreate the Attitude Era, but it's never going to come back, people.
Nope.
That was at a certain time, a period of time where wrestling was really hot. Nowadays, wrestling it's still hot, but it's not the hottest thing in the world right now.
Well, it's down to just wrestling fans. Back then, it had casuals. Now it's just wrestling fans. TJS, you want to chime in on this all? Any thought?
Yeah, it's like you said. It was like Stone Cold Steve Austin is someone that everyone knows. Like if you ask someone who is this, they can tell you that's Stone Cold. Oh, that's Hulk Hogan. Oh, that's the Undertaker. Show someone now like
Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's the thing. WWE sucks at establishing characters, at telling stories. We just get some lame. Like I can't think of a really good story that's going on right now in WWE. I like the Ronda Becky Charlotte thing, but it's becoming overexposed, and that's the thing. They have to keep producing shows every week, and if you leave them off the card, then it's going to be like, oh, well, I guess they're not relevant anymore. So they just need fresh ideas, really, and just shorten the product. That's all I can say.
All right.
Too long.
Well, I'm going to throw Kofi Kingston into the mix here, into the fire, back in the mid-card where he belongs. I go out of my way on the NoDQ review number 50. Aaron even puts a thumbnail up of Kofi Mania. We put him in the main event, and it was one of our least viewed. Granted, we almost still have 3,000 views. We appreciate you, NoDQ Galaxy. But look what happened on Smackdown, Josh Mansfield. Now, we still have time. Kofi and Bryan could still happen. Who knows? But how are we going to get there, everybody? What is next for Kofi? Vince McMahon has his fingerprints all over this. You are just not main event material. And all the fans are trying to make it like something's interesting, like race card. I really wish, and we're going to talk about Smackdown on Fox TV 14 after this. I would love to see what you see on other cable television shows, what you see on Netflix, actual stories that relate to real life. The race card would be perfect here. Oh, but no. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first on it. Well,
all right, there you go. Aaron,
Big G was raising his hand. Oh, I like this topic, but Big G, was there something if you want to go first?
You guys. No, go ahead, Aaron. Go ahead.
Okay, so I agree with you. I would love to see Kofi actually go on television and ask Vince if he's a racist, because that, to me, is the only thing that really makes sense in the storyline. Why does Vince have this vendetta against Kofi Kingston? It hasn't really been explained on television. No. There was like little subtle teases here and there, little reference to, our kind of people are never going to get the opportunities no matter how hard we work. Little, just subtle references to it. But I just want to see them go full blown. The problem is that, like Big G said earlier, the Attitude Era was a product of its time. We're not really going to see another Attitude Era. And the problem is that if WWE ever tried to do that, people get offended over every little thing now. I mean, you can't even share a picture of an attractive woman without being labeled a sexist. That's
creep.
Being a weirdo and a creep.
TV shows like Law and Order or movies, they have races. I mean, they tell those stories and people don't cry and bitch about it. I mean, so why this?
Well, I think some people will say, well, it's going to cheapen Kofi's win, the fact that they had to play the race card. But I like, how else do you explain why Vince is upset with him? Like, to me, that's like the big logic hole here. Why is Vince doing this to Kofi? And it hasn't been explained. And there's the little subtle teases on social media, but we haven't actually seen anything on television. And I wonder if they're just afraid to pull the trigger on it because they're worried that people are going to get upset. As it is, the fans that think wrestling is still real to them, damn it, they go on Twitter and they say they're not going to watch WWE anymore because WWE is not putting the title, on a black man, and they're racist already. And WWE hasn't even pushed that storyline on television, and people are still talking about it. But I feel like us talking about it and trying to come up with some ideas for this just goes to show that it's not really that appealing of a storyline. I think they need to go big or go home. Take a chance, push the envelope.
And look, I would buy, Big G, you're next. I would buy into this Kofi Mania and actually feel rewarded to watch him beat Daniel Bryan one-on-one for the title if they had a storyline like this. You know what I mean? I would be compelled. I think that would be awesome. And Vince McMahon has to eat that crow. What do you think?
Well, you guys really don't watch the after SmackDown YouTube post, but New Day was, except for TGS, New Day was in the locker room backstage, and Big E was, contemplating, we should quit the WWE. You've done this for 11 years. You're not gonna. They won't let you go through the glass ceiling. So this is what I'm thinking. Next week, if they're gonna go the WrestleMania 30 route like they do with Daniel Bryan, because they've been calling Kofi a B+ player now, I feel either New Day is gonna threaten to quit the WWE or they're gonna try to hijack SmackDown until he gets his title shot against Daniel Bryan
Right.
at WrestleMania.
Or maybe they do something like from 2000 where The Rock and Mankind came out there. I think it was actually The Rock because Mankind got fired, and The Rock was insisting that Mankind gets rehired, and he said if Triple H and Stephanie don't go along with it and rehire him.
I can see the whole locker room like protesting and walking out.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they were all back there watching the match last night, like in the viewing party room. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? So I'm assuming they're going to do something like that, or the locker room's going to protest and walk out and say, SmackDown's not going to be SmackDown if we're not here. So you better give Kofi his title, his opportunity at WrestleMania, damn it.
Yeah.
You want real drama? Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, because who's gonna talk over Vince and convince Vince to do this? He's the final decision maker. Like if they have Stephanie come out and say Kofi's getting the shot, like that's gonna make no sense whatsoever. Like
Linda's the only one that's ever put Vince in his place, like besides Austin.
They could do Linda, have her come out and say,
okay, if they really want to make things interesting, because they're baby faces and you're not going to have a finger poke of doom, have Vince come out and say, you want New Day. You think Kofi deserves this shot at WrestleMania against Daniel Bryan? At the end of SmackDown, all three of you in a triple threat match, and the winner goes on to face Daniel Bryan. That would be an awesome thread for a show, because baby faces aren't going to lay down. Now you're going to have Big E thinking, it could be me, Xavier Woods. I mean, I'm just saying
that would be
that's
interesting.
One small example of how to get out of it, but come on.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it.
Another idea that they could possibly do is have it be revealed that it was Xavier and Big E that were in cahoots with Vince all along, and they were jealous of Kofi and his success, so they talked to Vince and got in his ear, and it's revealed that they were double-crossing Kofi all along.
There you go.
See, this is what I thought. Before TJS starts, this is what I thought. So we had like 5 minutes left on SmackDown after Kofi won, right? Last night.
Oh, you saw that coming, man. You saw that coming.
No, I didn't even see Daniel Bryan coming. I thought, okay, because we had talked about it before. I figured the New Day was going to turn on Kofi Kingston right there. When Kofi was up on the, celebrating, and Big E and Xavier right behind him, I was like, man, this is a perfect time. And sure enough, that's when Vince came out, and I was like, well, we're gonna get Daniel Bryan because he was already in his ring gear. So
that's true.
Now, TJS, this was clearly designed to get more heat on Daniel Bryan. Remember a time when Daniel Bryan was retired, which was about a year ago, right? Then he came back. Fans wanted him back so bad. Didn't know if he was going to wrestle again. We talked. He's going to go to Japan to wrestle, this or that. He's back, now in a heel role, and he's doing a good job if fans want to see him lose. But, I mean, why can't we appreciate Daniel Bryan he literally is getting pushed. It's not as a baby face, but take it away with this, man.
A year ago today is when Daniel Bryan announced that he was coming back to the ring. So I'd say that it's been a good year, or at least a good 6 months for him. You have Trump buy WWE, and then Trump push Kofi to win the title, so it's a win-win for everyone.
That's what you would do? Interesting. Well, Linda McMahon serves on his cabinet, so there's Linda's decision. All right, TJ, so thanks for the thumbs down.
An idea that I have, I would like it that...
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on a second. What about if...
What a topic, baby.
Here's how Donald Trump gets over. Donald Trump comes out and tells Vince Kofi's main eventing WrestleMania.
Yeah, after he buys the... I like it.
Wow, that would be... Talk about some... Oh, wow.
Because then people can't boo that because Trump is giving the fans what they want. He's saying, sorry, Vince, but you got to make Kofi. I'm the president of the United States. Kofi is going to fight for the WWE title. Gets Trump over as a babyface.
If Trump was out of office and no longer president, because then I could see something like that happen, and that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I know. There's like zero chance of that happening, but it would be amusing.
Oh man,
we are the authority. Don't forget that.
We are.
Seriously, I want Vince to go on some rant or whatever. And he's like, you know why that you're not WWE title material? Look at you. You have pancakes. You wear the unicorn horn. And then I want him to like almost like say because you're, and then Kofi could be like, what? What'd you just say? And
What?
then, like,
Excellent writing, TJS.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I like that idea. And then like that could be like he never said because you're black, but New Day could just push it like you heard what the man was gonna say. He doesn't like it's because of our skin color, which that was kind of what the New Day was doing when they first started with the whole preacher gimmick. So I feel like they could come out there with like a list of WWE champions. Like, and you notice something about this list, guys? None of them are of our ethnicity. They're all white or Mexican or whatever. And I feel like WWE will never push the envelope like that because of the kids. I feel like it's oriented, and you can have like you'll have a black kid watching the show, and then you'd hear Vince say that, and then the kid would like ask his parents like, just because you're black means you can't be the champion or whatever. So I feel like we're too politically correct for that nowadays, unfortunately. So we'll probably get something like New Day filling Vince McMahon's limo with pancakes or something, and that'll be the last.
You know what I am liking though?
They're gonna pour syrup on him from the rafters or something.
You know what I do like though? We haven't seen no pancakes. We haven't seen no trombones in the past month and a half from the New Day.
We had pancakes last night.
Yeah, they were eating pancakes backstage
with the Usos.
Okay, they were eating pancakes. Okay,
You're seeing what you want to see. Yeah, that's all right though. I mean,
they become a little bit more serious ever since Kofi won that gauntlet back in February in the Elimination Chamber. He was close in last night, so.
And I like the promo that Big E cut backstage where they were talking about quitting.
Big E's a star, baby. I hope they push him one day.
And didn't Big E also say something in a video blog where he was like, hey, people in WWE of our kind only make it so far, right? Aaron?
Right, yeah, that was the little subtle,
yeah.
They didn't go, flat out say it, but yeah, it's kind of.
It's like right there. They just need to.
They want you to think it. They want you to think it, but I'm sure like Bruce Pritchard and people in WWE would say, no,
Dude,
we never.
Mark Henry needs to come out and be their manager.
No boy, Nation of Domination.
Henry, he's doing something with them. Mark Henry, he's traveling with them, and I don't know if he's an agent or what. I thought he was doing something with them.
This reminds me of the South Park episode where it's Wheel of Fortune. It's like people who annoy you, and Vince is Randy Marsh.
Ooh.
Well, all right. So speaking of controversial type things to discuss, so SmackDown when they go to Fox, we've heard these rumblings that Fox wants an edgier product. So what do you think? I mean, is this going to fit the bill? Can they do more stuff like this if a network wants it? Or do you think they're still going to shy away? And I'll start with you, TJS, because they're publicly traded. They're a politically correct company to please the stockholders. Are you intrigued at all by these rumors of SmackDown on Fox, of the edginess?
I sure hope it's true. Because I feel like it would be really good if you can separate the brands from each other and make them feel like a different show. I mean, because what do we have now? We just have different sets, basically, and that's it. It's the same format, basically, every week on either show, except one shorter. That's it. And I feel like maybe we could get more of, like, the edginess on SmackDown, because I guess once it goes to Fox, that's going to be the flagship show, it seems. And Raw is just going to get the shaft now. I'm wondering if it's going to become 3 hours or not.
You're jinxing it, is what you're doing. You're giving us all an extra hour of wrestling to watch each week.
Well, I'd be fine with that if it gets better, but I really don't think it's going to. And Fox seems to be like really sports oriented, so it makes me feel like maybe these rumors aren't true. Maybe by edgier, they mean that we're going to get more hardcore matches or something. I really don't see SmackDown going in like a non-politically correct direction. Probably just more swear words, and that's about it. I don't know about anything else. Aaron, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what's going to change. I mean, are they going to have more edgier storylines? Are they going to use more profanity? What do they mean by that? Like, I don't think we're going to see chair shots to the head because that's an entirely different thing. So, yeah, I don't know what they're really going to do to push the envelope. I mean, the only thing I could think of is storylines that are not as politically correct and doing something that might offend somebody.
You think these subtleties with like Kofi and Vince that they're really is this testing the waters on a subliminal level, you think, Aaron, to see if maybe they can deliver this stuff when they do the move?
Could be. I mean, I think that's what they want to present to people, and they want people to think all that. But again, I think they're afraid to actually go all out with it and actually do the full blown Vince might be a racist storyline on television. We'll see what happens. We got 2 weeks left until WrestleMania. Anything can happen. But just looking on Twitter, I could see people already upset about Big E's video from today. Saying I can't believe WWE's bringing race into this now, and this is terrible. They're ruining the storyline and all that stuff. So I don't know if they're going to go through with it. I really don't.
Big G, any thoughts?
I mean, you guys pretty much covered everything. I mean, I guess they are trying to test the waters a little bit because Fox is known to be a little bit edgier with their shows and stuff like that, and I don't know, if they do something like that, are people gonna get offended? Because people get offended easily nowadays by the smallest thing. I mean, you have all these alleged people that were sexually assaulted back in the day by these actors and directors, and took them this long to say something. So, and nowadays, people get offended easily. So I don't know what's gonna happen if they're gonna go back to TV 14 or not.
I feel we're going to get more profanity, but we're not going to get like a live sex celebration like we used to.
It'll be Roman Reigns going on there calling his opponent a bitch, which he already does on Raw. All right. I want to bring up this topic. This wasn't on the list, but it got me thinking. I thought the Miz's promo, which we always do, was fantastic on SmackDown, and to me, I was kind of shocked that maybe they didn't have Shane McMahon come out at the end of that gauntlet match to, help his dad because he's a heel now and try to screw Kofi over. And the Miz came out for the save. Kofi gets the win, goes to Mania, which would build more heat for the Shane and Miz match too. I remember, Aaron, they used to intertwine feuds and appearances. What do you think, man?
Well, basically, WWE handcuffed themselves with that creatively because nobody could interfere in that gauntlet match.
Shane, though, I'm just saying, if Shane, you know what I mean?
Right, but then you said Miz would have had to make the save, and nobody was allowed to interfere in the match, so there's no way they could have really pulled that off,
But you know what I mean? Saying you can't do it, Shane comes out and the Miz comes out anyway. Now you're thinking, what's going to happen to the Miz? I break the rules, make us wonder what's going to happen because and again, it's too critical thinking. I know. Any thoughts though on the Miz in general? Like, you think he can pull off these great promos? Like when he was a heel with that passion leaning towards the babyface role now? That's kind of what I was getting at.
It's definitely interesting. I think just the fact that he pours his heart into his promos, and when he talks about how he busted his ass for all those years, that's what he really went through in real life, dealing with the reality shows and people seeing him as a joke, and he basically had to prove everybody wrong and earn the respect of everybody. So it's just real life, he's taken that and channeling it in his promos, and it just comes off very believable because it's what he was really going through. So yeah, Miz does a great job. So far the face turn is going fine. Shane as a heel though I don't know. I mean, I love the heel turn, but Shane's reasoning behind it, I was like, is that really the best they got? But that's pretty much how I feel about a lot of these storylines heading into WrestleMania.
You think they can do anything with Miz's dad, like the whole Tyson angle, have Miz's dad turn on him during this, like next week on SmackDown, join Shane, but ultimately he's going to be there to help his son at Mania?
Oh, like a double
Or do you
swerve?
think, I mean, get him involved. I mean, he took the pie face. He was at ringside. He was kind of involved. You can protect him. Like, I'd like to see that. I miss stories like that. Remember when CM Punk had his sister and all that with Jericho, and just those little things like that. If they pique my interest.
Yeah, I mean, we got like 2 weeks left, so they could do something. TJS, any thoughts?
I don't know about Shane as a heel, because what do people like about Shane? They like when he jumps off stuff, does the coast to coast, does the shooting star presses. Are they going to boo that? Like, are you going to boo this man when he's going for his big spots? I don't think so. And if you take those out of a Shane McMahon match, what do you have? The Miz is
bad punches.
Yeah, and that's about it. I like the Miz as a babyface more than I liked him as a heel. I wasn't a fan of like the coward thing, and ever since Miz has had his child, I feel like he's become like more of a family man in the story, and I like that. He gets Maurice involved sometimes, and I think that this suits him. I'm really not sure about this match though, and I like the idea of having Miz's dad involved, even though that he's not a very good actor. Like when Miz was hurt or whatever, he didn't look very concerned on Smack or at Fastlane. He was just kind of sitting there. But yeah, I feel like he should have taken more bumps than just like, come here or whatever. They made it seem so tragic, but Miz's dad was just sitting there with like a poker face.
Well, I think the idea was that Mrs. Dad had to sit there helplessly as his son got the crap beat out of him, and Shane was making him watch it.
I guess that's fair, but once, like, he didn't even defend himself once Shane grabbed him. He was just...
He's an old man.
I like the fact we know he ran a Mr. Hero like that. Like I popped for that. That Mr. Hero's big around these parts, in which I live near Cleveland, which is where Miz grew up.
Yeah. I kind of like the idea of the Best in the World trophy being thrown in the mix, because at least it's continuity that way. It doesn't make Crown Jewel completely worthless. We're like, oh look, Shane won this trophy here, and I feel like The Miz is doing passionate promos, unlike before when he was the heel. Except on Talking Smack, he did really good stuff there. But usually when he came out, it was the same thing, like, welcome to the most must-see talk show, blah blah blah. I like the serious, ruthless Miz. Like, and at Survivor Series a couple years back when he said, Baron, if you bring up my pregnant wife again, I'm gonna knock your effing teeth down your throat.
Right.
That's the kind of I like. So, Big G.
Yeah. Whew. I did enjoy Miz's promo last night. You know, he started talking about how he made his father proud and everything. I was like, oh God, here we go again. And then he cut right into, you know, how he had to go through everything, like Aaron said, the real world. I don't even think he mentioned Tough Enough. Then, you know, took him 11 years to get everybody's respect and everything like that. And TJS, I think now that Shane is a heel, I don't think he's going to throw in these big moves because he's not going to cater to the fans anymore. He only did that. He only did that for the fans. So we might actually get like a wrestling match, and no big spots in this match, unfortunately.
Well, you got to go back. Shane was a heel back in the day, right?
Yeah.
For a while there when he wrestled some matches and stuff. So, you know, yeah, he ended up doing the stunts at some point, but I don't know. But he was a lot younger back then too.
Yeah.
He did.
And he looks, and when he does the coast to coast and everything, he looks blown up too after that. He looks like you can do all the training in the world, but it's not going to help.
Right.
Especially if you're getting up in there in your late 40s, early 50s.
I wanted to mention.
Fortunately, that's for Shane and Kurt and a couple other people, but.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention really quick. I really, really hate this story where it's like, my dad never said he was proud of me. I just don't like that, because if you get signed to WWE, your family's going to say, oh, wow, great job. They're not just going to be like,
yeah,
no.
And plus it kind of makes his dad come off like a dick, you know?
That's why they need to turn his dad heel to join Shane to make that statement make sense.
Right.
I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, what's a problem with his dad, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. Big G, start this next topic for me, because you kind of brought this up in the last week or two. I think it's kind of compelling that we're seeing Ronda arrive with her husband. I think he's a former MMA himself. That guy,
he was.
I don't know if he's doing some performance center training and stuff behind the scenes, but dude, the guy looks legit, and I kind of like this in this scenario. So go ahead and what's your thought? Like, do you think this is good for Ronda having him on screen with her?
Well, as we saw on Raw, he pretty much knocked out a security guard, and he is probably the only one who can really control Ronda at this point in time. So yeah, I said, if her husband's going to play a role at WrestleMania, and I'm sure he'll be sitting in the front row, and I'm sure he'll get involved somehow. All three of them over there, and he knocks down Becky or he knocks down Charlotte or something like that.
That's man-on-woman violence. You can't do that.
And I don't think they should overbook that match.
Well, wait a minute. Actually, I guess if it's with Becky, it's man-on-man violence, right?
But, just to get more heat on Ronda, though, I guess, and I don't know if that would work in a way. But if he doesn't show up regardless, or he'll show up, but if he doesn't get involved, Ronda will still get a whole bunch of heat regardless. So,
TJS?
This has reminded me of Jesse and Festus now. Festus is Ronda's Festus, and then if Jesse rings the bell, he'll calm down. I liked the appearance, though. I liked Travis Brown threw a pretty mean punch, I'll say. Like, it looked pretty brutal when he hit that security guard, but I'm not sure. Like, I'm getting really confused why they're beating up the security guards. Because on SmackDown, Ronda or Becky and Charlotte also beat up the security, but they only beat up like one. So what's the point of doing it if you're not going to take out all of them? It's just really confusing. I liked the Travis Brown thing, though, like I said. I like how they left through the back or whatever instead of going up behind the curtain. Although Ronda did forget her women's title, she doesn't need that damn belt, I guess, even though she's going to defend it at WrestleMania. But I really feel like this is getting overbooked, honestly.
Just now?
Yeah, it's been there. It's been on that trend, but
they should have just had Charlotte or Becky win the Rumble, and then just keep it simple. You don't have to make everything so complex. Like, you're gonna get like Becky's mom involved or something. You're gonna have Ronda fly to Ireland and put Becky's poor old mom in an armbar or something. I don't know. I feel like if there was any story that Ric Flair was going to get involved in, it should have been this one. Have him be the heel. Have him say, like, he's going to coach Charlotte and no one's going to beat Charlotte because he's a ringside or whatever, but he's never really, like, managed.
Right. I was just going to say, like, I feel like that would be a total WWE thing to do, have Ric Flair show up as a heel, and that would just take away from the whole Batista Triple H thing that was supposed to get heat on Batista. They would just have Ric Flair randomly show up as a heel with Charlotte.
They're selling the title that they revealed on Raw on WWE auction. So it's like, oh, what, you're supposed to tell me that Rick is he's auctioning off his birthday present? He's such a dick for doing that. But yeah, I don't know if Travis Brown's going to have a match or whatever, but I feel like if he wasn't going to be involved some more, they wouldn't have had him appear like this. I'm sure that they'll announce on WWE.com like both parties have been fined an undisclosed amount, and also Ronda got a fine for being late.
Yeah, which is dumb in itself because how many people show up late over the years and nothing ever happens?
It's just, I don't know. They should have just kept it simple, like I said. But yeah, Becky, Ronda, Charlotte, probably going to close Mania.
What if it doesn't? I'm just throwing that out there.
Well,
it has to be. It has to be.
I know, but
then you got to go back to.
Can we all agree that we got to see it to believe it? Just because Vince McMahon's the ones pulling the puppet strings.
Yeah, and it's weird because they always say like the Universal title main event, they'll say the WWE title main event of WrestleMania. They say main event in a lot of matches, but we all know there's only one main event.
It's the one that goes on last. Aaron, any thoughts on Ronda and her hubby?
I'm I'm fine with him being on television, although it doesn't really do anything for me personally as far as my overall interest in the match. To me, it's just yet another thing that we didn't really need for this storyline build-up. It's possible that he was on just to let people know who he is and give him a little bit of exposure. You know, maybe he will start training for WWE and end up as a wrestler at some point. You know, just something to get him on TV. I don't really think there was that.
He was there when at SummerSlam when Ronda won the title because she went over and jumped on him and kissed him, and now you see him being pretty much like a bad guy too. So
yeah, I think it's just to get him some exposure on TV, and it's just something as a placeholder since Becky and Charlotte were not on Raw this week, which quite frankly they shouldn't because they're part of SmackDown. So WWE had to come up with something as a placeholder until I'm sure they'll be on like the go home Raw. They'll probably do like, you know, the final. It's going to be the final showdown, and maybe they'll do like a pull-apart brawl again, and everyone can chant, "Let them fight," blah, blah, blah.
What was that, TJS?
I'll send you a video. I'll send a video of myself doing that while I'm there.
They're going to do a contract signing on the go, I'm sure, I bet. But I think that maybe Trent and Ronda will like play into the whole wrestling's fake thing.
So wait a minute. They've been advertising the match. They have the billboards for it, and then they're going to do a contract signing?
Oh, this is just my idea. I imagine that's what they'll do.
Because they don't know how to take it home to the whatever. I don't know. Here, all right. So speaking of exposure, TJS, what do you got for us? No, I'm just kidding. Big G, what's the rumor now? NXT or main roster talent potentially going back to NXT, and immediately when I heard that rumor, I'm looking for logos that say defective product, recall. Now, oh my God, I can imagine if they start doing this. You brought up the topic. You brought up the topic NXT call-ups that are failing. Yeah. Is it failing or just not given anything by creative? So start with this topic, man. And what do you think if they start calling back down? I mean, I'm thinking that's bad. We
had talked about this I know me and Virtue talked about this on Virtue's Rage way before this video came out, saying that the talent that's barely been used on NXT or on the main roster, they need to go back down to NXT, and they need to.
Why?
I know it's gonna be a little bit longer. They could make NXT an hour and a half. That way,
nobody makes a show 90 minutes.
You never know. Okay, make it 2 hours.
You're being innovative.
So the people who aren't being on the main roster used properly go down to NXT. That way, people still will know them.
So Braun Strowman can go back down to NXT because he's not being used properly. See where I'm going with this? I'm just saying it's convoluted to me, and I can't believe I'm hearing this rumor. Go ahead, keep going. Sorry.
So Braun Strowman is a perfect example. His character is completely ruined on Raw. They need to make NXT the third brand already. They need to stop calling it the developmental brand. They need to make it its third brand, make it 2 hours, put everybody, not everybody per se, but the people that you really don't see on TV anymore, like Mojo Rawley can go back down there. Zack Ryder can go down. Kurt Hawkins can go. I have a list that, you know, could be then longer than Chris Jericho's list. But yeah, but then they had the video like saying Luke Harper could go down there, Cesaro could go back down there. I'd be fine with that, you know. Oh, and maybe not Cesaro, but Luke Harper. You know, you see him on TV once in a while, then he gets hurt, and then he gets hurt, and then back and forth. So I don't know if they do it, I'll be fine with it.
TJS, what do you think about this? I know this is near and dear to your heart because. What do you think this means with EC3? Now, the only reason why I bring him up is because clearly, I wonder if he's got some heat backstage because didn't he kind of say, he kind of put down NXT? I don't know if that was him or I'm thinking of somebody else. That because he really wasn't given a good run down there. Like, what do you think on this whole thing about moving people back down? Like, and would they still get main roster money? They get raises, by the way. They go from 40, 50, 60,000, whatever they make in NXT, to the big bucks. on the main roster, will they keep the same pay? Like, what do you think?
Well, like I said earlier, I like the idea of making each brand feel differently. So I think maybe, like I've been saying, do not market NXT as a developmental brand. Make it an equal to Raw and SmackDown. And I kind of like the idea of like maybe doing like not weight divisions, but different divisions on the shows. Like you have Raw, that's where you could put your heavyweights. SmackDown, you put your lighter guys, and then NXT you can have like the mix or whatever. And the talent they're free to go wherever they choose, like at the start of the year or whatever. So there could be trades or whatever. And then I just feel like the shows would be different that way, and we wouldn't be getting like the same, or we wouldn't have the developmental NXT. And then I feel like there's just more room for everyone if you have the 3 brands and you make Raw.
Yeah, you say that until they add another developmental brand, because if NXT is no longer a developmental brand, they still need a developmental brand. So they're going to add even more people, and then they're going to have 4 shows. And then is NXT going to become 2 hours?
For themselves.
Are they going to be on the network, or are they going to be on a major channel? NXT, like it just means more TV, and then they're going to add more shit. It just will never end.
This is like, what was the big empire back in the day? Was it Napoleon? Was it the Roman Empire? The British Empire? What empire covered the most places back when you were in history class? I think it might have been the British Empire.
Yeah, I think
that's exactly what I feel Vince McMahon is trying to do to the wrestling business. Put the WWE stamp on everything he can, and it's just getting so big that it's getting more and more watered down.
Yeah, but to finish this topic, like I don't have an issue with guys like Luke Harper, guys that are not getting any TV time, going back to NXT for a little bit just to get themselves, reestablished and just do something with them. Just maybe do like a couple months of them on NXT until the main roster has a creative idea for them, so they're just not sitting on their asses doing nothing.
And that's why I had brought up the topic, of the recent NXT call-ups of failure. Look at, EC3 is apparently in the doghouse. Look at Lars Sullivan. He was down in NXT. He was a monster heel. Then they call him up to the main roster, and he gets an anxiety attack. Really? I don't know if that's a true story or not, but we haven't seen or heard about Lars Sullivan in months now. And supposedly he was supposed to have a match with John Cena, right, at WrestleMania.
Everyone calling Lars a freak finally got to him.
Probably. And then look at Lacey Evans. All she does, she interrupts people and just shows off her Southern Belle. And then you got Heavy Machinery, who was great in NXT, now becoming this comedy team.
Were they great?
They were okay. They were good in NXT.
Their character.
And then look at Nikki Cross. She was great in NXT too. And now look at her. She's watching Kofi Kingston in the viewing party room with everybody else. And
another thing, WWE still hasn't assigned these talents a brand because I don't think they know what to do with them.
Exactly. That's the thing. And that's why it was too early.
And Aaron made the point, like, what are they going to do the night after WrestleMania? Because they've blown their load so early.
Like, they did.
If Ricochet...
Well, I think supposedly... I don't know how true this is, but Ricochet and Aleister Black, they're supposed to finally be put on, like, permanent brands.
Yeah, but there's not going to be any crowd reaction to it. It's like, oh, we've been seeing him for the last...
Yeah, I know. I know.
Nothing's exciting anymore. Where are the swerves? Where's Vince Russo? Where's the attitude era? Oh, wait, we're never going to have it. People don't want it. But let's go to the main event. Let's talk about heavyweights. Let's talk about people that built WWE to what it is today. The guys that Vince McMahon has trusted over the years, and that is one Undertaker. It is WrestleMania season. It is March 20th as we're recording this. And Undertaker is not anywhere to be seen for the first time in years for WrestleMania. Now, we know he's going to be at StarCast as Mark Calloway, also known as The Undertaker, for signings and autographs and photos. TJS, I'm going to start with you. Can it be Mania without even an appearance from The Undertaker? Go back to last year. He really wasn't advertised. It was Cena begging. And Cena, too. no Cena, no Undertaker part of Mania. Aaron, put Undertaker on the thumbnail. People want to see the Undertaker. He's a draw still, no matter how old he is. TJS, what's your thoughts on Taker, or lack thereof?
It's so weird because Undertaker probably makes a lot of money just for that one match that he does. He's obviously set for life already, but it doesn't make any sense to me why he's not showing up. Where do you even put the guy? I feel like maybe Kurt Angle is on this show because he has at least some star power. Triple H and Batista have some star power. Maybe they're doing this to make up for lack of Undertaker, lack of Cena. But I still don't think Triple H, Batista, Angle, I don't think they equal Undertaker, man, because Undertaker is synonymous with WrestleMania. And I guess the only thing that I can see happening with him is him interrupting Elias or something like that.
That's a good call because as much as I want that to be The Rock, The Rock's the biggest star in the world. It's kind of hard to get him to do stuff, probably. I like that, TJS. That would be interesting.
If you have Undertaker interrupt Elias, where do you put Cena? That's what I'm really not understanding here. They're gonna have John Cena as a guest commentator or something? Like, it's just really bizarre. And it's crunch time, guys. WrestleMania's in 2 weeks, so I have no idea. Aaron?
Well, I have some thoughts.
Oh, Aaron. Aaron looks like Big G today. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Big G.
All right. Well, you guys are going to hate me. The fans are going to hate me, but I'm glad Undertaker is not on this card for WrestleMania.
I agree.
The man is past his prime, way past his prime. If he does show up, okay, maybe he interrupts Elias and does a chokeslam and a tombstone, and that's it. I'll be fine with that, but he does not need a match. Let the man be retired. It's about the younger generation, the newer stars. Focus on them. Don't focus. Yeah, Vince, you can focus on your past stars to make you $1 million, but you got newer superstars who are trying to make a name for themselves. So get your head out of your ass, Vince McMahon, and look at the newer talent.
But Saudi Arabia pays them millions and billions of dollars for Undertakers.
Well, Saudi Arabia.
That's why they got a $90 stock, bro.
So, as far as John Cena goes, who knows if he's going to face Angle at WrestleMania or not. I could see potentially, Corbin gets beat up at WrestleMania by somebody, by Apollo Crews and Chad Gable and stuff like that, and Angle's music hits and Corbin music hits then and nobody comes out. And then Angle goes, well, Corbin, you ain't going to show up. Anybody in the locker room come and challenge me, and that's when Cena music hits.
Yeah, could be. I mean, as far as Undertaker interrupting Elias goes, I think that's probably what will happen. It's either going to be Undertaker or Cena. I'm leaning towards Undertaker, and maybe we'll still get Cena versus Corbin, or like you said, Big G, Cena just comes out for a quick impromptu match. I agree with you. I feel like Undertaker, his time is done. I like WrestleMania with Cena being his send-off. He got the victory to make off for losing to Reigns, so he went out on top in a victorious fashion. I could just see Elias doing his song, and then the lights go out. Hopefully no full entrance. We don't need the full entrance. Lights go out. They come back on. Undertaker standing there. Chokeslam, tombstone. Let's move on. That's it. And then Undertaker should go into the Hall of Fame, and that's it. I mean, everything comes to an end eventually.
Mic drop.
Aaron loves us getting that heat. He loves the hating the old guys. I love it.
It's time to move on. I mean, he can't be doing this
forever. He's been talking about the same guys on his site for 20 years. So Aaron's he wants new, fresh material that people want. He wants the next CM Punk.
No, I just want CM Punk.
Screw CM Punk.
I know, Aaron. That's the last true buzz left in wrestling, I think, man.
Yeah. If AEW could somehow pull it off, man, that would be like, I feel like the only real game changer. Like, even more than like even a John Cena or The Rock would be, quite frankly, just because CM Punk, he's that guy that people have so much invested in, and I think if he showed up,
you brought CM Punk up. Do you think that was Undertaker's last true great WrestleMania match?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. WrestleMania 29 happened to be in MetLife Stadium as well.
TJS.
Yeah. I feel like, what has Undertaker had since then? Brock, Bray Wyatt.
Yep. Shane, Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Reigns. I liked it. Well, I feel like his match with Wyatt could have been so much more. But
That match
No
was
thought.
fine. It was fine. It wasn't great or anything, but it wasn't bad or nothing.
Wyatt should have retired him, and he should have passed the torch, and then maybe we would take Bray Wyatt seriously today. But no.
That's why I asked you again, TJS. I was waiting for you to bring up Bray Wyatt because we haven't seen him either.
Maybe he shows up in NXT.
He hasn't been the same since that WrestleMania match with Orton. I mean, his momentum, they really killed his momentum. He could have been like not the next Undertaker, but
right when he won the WWE title and then he just loses it in that absolutely ridiculous match.
Yeah, and it was over. I mean, his steam, he just poor Bray.
Yeah.
Go back to NXT, like Aaron said, and create a new Wyatt family.
Yeah. That's all I got. I mean, here we are. It's Mania season, and Aaron has to deal with Batistas and the Triple H's of the world, and that's his passion. And
you got to deal with the Kofis of the world.
Yeah, I mean, and here we are. We always have something to complain about, but
and TGS has to complain with the
lack
writers.
of EC3s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do I have to complain about? Absolutely nothing.
The lack of 205 Live getting attention, maybe, although that's more like...
Who, me?
That's more like Noah and Cindy, I think.
Yeah. I was going to say...
Okay, you're complaining about the lack of Shayna Baszler on the main roster, although they might ruin her, too, on the main roster.
Oh man, that's going to be... I can't wait for her to get called up.
Just wait. Big G 2019 rant when Shayna Baszler gets jobbed out on the main roster.
Oh, I will be. Yeah, we'll leave that for a rant.
To be continued. Big G, give your plugs, man.
Well, NoDQ.com/Big G takes you to my Twitter page. NoDQ_Big G on Instagram. Jeff Hilt on Facebook. NoDQ.com/shirts. Everybody's got shirts. Hashtag Fire Virtue. NoDQ.com. NoDQ review. The shirt that TJS got at Walmart or Target or
and a 3-pack,
wherever shirts are available. I will be going to the go home shows for WrestleMania, Raw, and SmackDown.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I know. I'm starting to regret it now. So if you want to meet up there or something like that, talk wrestling, just hit me up on Twitter or whatever. Aaron was gracious enough to give me some of these NoDQ.com pens, and I got some business cards that I'll be handing out to Rep NoDQ and TJS. Take it away, buddy.
NoDQ.com/TJS takes you to my Facebook page. Feel free to add me there. Talk to me about some wrestling. Twitter @NoDQ_TJS. I also talk about wrestling there because I watch wrestling. And that's all I got. Aaron, go ahead, man.
Okay, yeah, check out the T-shirts. There's the NoDQ review right there, which is this video that you're watching right now. We got that. We got all the other shirts. Unfortunately, you cannot get TJS's $3 teal shirt that is a tribute to the Weezer album with the cover songs. But I'm sure if you go to your local Walmart, you can pick one up. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com. Or 3, yeah. 3, special, 3 for $5.
Oh, Aaron, did you want to promote something that's coming out April 4th?
Oh, yeah. Well, we got the biggest trivia match in history, which is set for Thursday, April 4th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Jeff Meacham versus Greg Cherry in a 60-minute Iron Man match. And from my understanding, Virtue's going to give the winner $500 cash.
We got some controversy regarding that $100. I will address that in the coming weeks, so stay tuned to NoDQ.com. Follow me on Twitter @NoDQ_Virtue. I always get my money's worth, trust me. So check that out if you want to see what's going to happen with that $100. So with that said, you can follow me on Twitter, like I mentioned, @NoDQ_Virtue. Facebook, which is NoDQ.com/Virtue. So for Aaron Riff, the boss man, the medium boss man, the large boss man, For TJS and DC3, and for the Big G, I am Virtue. NoDQ Galaxy, we love you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.